Okay, so we want to take a little bit of a look at jQuery, how we can make our forms and our PHP scripts a little bit more dynamic. So we're not going to get into a lot of detail on jQuery, but here's where we'll start. So here's my web page, and you could obviously stick this in your header file, but I have a script tag that links me to the Ajax API. So you can just copy paste something that looks like that. And then I'm going to write my own JavaScript, but let me come back to that in just 1 second. I've set up just a very, very basic page, body, form tag, and then a div that's going to hold my answer. Right now my page just looks like this. It's going to take two numbers, I'm going to click them together, and in the end I want it to display the answer. So we have to do just a little bit of JavaScript or access to the jQuery library. This first line, this document ready function, says don't load this JavaScript until after the page has loaded. This next line says when the button with ID btn is clicked, call this following function. And note that this function ends right there. But this is the function I'm going to call, and this is the part of jQuery that we're most concerned with. I'm telling it, go to a post via the post method, call this script add.php. To this script, I want to send all of my form data. The form data is test form down here, so I'm referring it to by its ID, and I'm serializing. Basically, that just takes all the data and connects it together and sends it all in one lump over to this add.php script. And then this last function, this is what I want to happen when that script returns. As soon as that script is done, this is the function that I want to call. So let's go take a look at our add.php script. All I have over here is I have a function that's going to take two variables and return the sum of those. But the first thing I do when the page loads is I'm going to go retrieve the post variable num1. Now back over here in our jQuery.php, after we serialize it, our variables are going to be accessible just as always, $_post sub num1, $_post sub num2. I'm storing those, and then I'm calling the function, passing those two values to it, so they would be copied into A and B respectively. Then they'd be added together and returned back here, and whatever that number is would be echoed. Note that we have to use an echo rather than a return when we're sending a response back to a jQuery request. So back over here, let's first just take a look at what happens if I do my alert. So as I refresh this page and I click, it should display the sum up here, 121. The next thing, so that's an alert message. Typically you want to stick it inside of your HTML document. So what this says is go to this div and set its HTML or inner HTML property to whatever the response was that came back from the page, the add.php, so that the data is actually stored here in response. The data as in this, whatever I echo back, that's what's going to be stored in the response. And so I can just set that inner HTML property using this line, and I'm going to refresh again, click, and now it's actually being displayed in the inner HTML. One other thing that you can see that I'm doing at the bottom of my Firefox screen is I am trying to, I've enabled, let's see, an add-on that is called Firebug. And Firebug allows me to view what's going on with my message. So notice when I did a post, it tells me what was actually posted to that script, since I never did see add.php in my browser. So there's what was posted or sent, and here's my response that I got back. And that becomes very useful as you're doing some debugging to make sure what you think is being posted is in fact being posted, and what's being sent back is in fact being sent back. In another tutorial, I'm going to try to go through how I might use this to do a database AJAX query.